Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. Hope you guys are having a good holiday season and a happy new year. This is your January 2021 reading. Thanks to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings go, I'm actually going to officially start those up again in January. So I'm recording this in December, but come January I will have those going again. So I'll make an update in the channel once that starts. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Cross spread as always, and I also pulled a couple of Oracle cards and a Mudra card for you guys. So with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main situation. Alright, we have the Four of Cups. So this is actually Cancer energy, which for you guys is your third house of communication, and there's actually going to be a full moon in Cancer toward the very end of December. So it could just be pointing to that energy. But what stands out to me with this card in particular at this time is, it looks like it's a nice sunny day out. The guy's dressed up in long sleeves and everything, sitting under a tree, right? Which gives you the impression they're trying to stay in the shade. So the term that came to mind is, you have to step into the sunlight, because what I'm seeing here is it looks like he's being offered cups. He doesn't look happy with them, right? So it could just be saying, another term that comes to mind looking at this is beggars can't be choosers, so it's like, okay, well, you're sitting in the shade, comfortable, and, letting things come to you, but you don't seem happy with them at the same time. So the challenge there could be for you guys to put yourselves in the spotlight in some way, right? Step out of the shade and into the sunlight. So that's what I'm seeing there primarily. And we will have Mars move into your sign around the end of the first week of January. So that might help give you that spark too. All right, in the challenge or obstacle position, we have the Nine of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here, which for you guys is your second house, which is the house you guys naturally rule. But of course, this to me is just saying that there's a lot of anxiety. So maybe anxiety around putting yourselves out there, right? Or maybe coming to that realization that, okay, yeah, I know that I'm not happy with what's being offered to me, but how do I get out of that, right? So there could just be a little bit of uncertainty in your mind on how best to move forward. But it definitely, at the very least, looks like you are giving it a lot of thought. So, between the third house energy there and Gemini energy here, it's a lot of communication, but here I see it's just more happening in your minds. Your minds are probably racing, trying to figure out how best to move forward in the situation. In the foundation position, we have the Sun. So to me, this is basically pointing to that same theme that I was saying. You're being asked to step out of out of the shade and into the sunlight. So this is what's at stake. Could just be saying that the opportunity for happiness is there for you guys, but think about the fact that there is a horse as well, which to me represents that movement, right? So it could just be saying that the impetus is on you guys to actually make those moves towards what you want, and then you'll actually receive that. In the past position, we have the Page of Swords. So this doesn't represent any particular air sign, but to me this is another indicator of that hesitancy to speak up, possibly, not feeling confident around speaking up around something. Maybe a fear of asking for what you wanted. Multitude of ways that could go. And this could go back as far as when we had the full moon in Gemini as well. So that's what I'm seeing there. In the present position, we have the Empress. So this is actually, usually it points to Taurus energy. Now, you guys and Libra are the two signs ruled by Venus, and we see the Venus symbolism there. So it could be either one, but of course, this definitely has a very earthy vibe to it. So usually people tend to think of Taurus energy with this, and of course the Hierophant would be the other one. But really what I'm seeing here is just, on the one hand, it's saying that there could be some good things coming your way, but again, it could just be also providing a bit of a cautionary message as far as what I was saying, where if you guys do tend to just be a bit too passive, then some opportunities could pass you by. So just try to strike that balance at the very least. And like I said, with the fact that Mars will be moving into your first house, that should definitely help with that too. But that's what I'm seeing there. All right. In the near future position, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy. and the Wheel of Fortune. So again, we definitely do see a shift taking place. So it could just be as simple as a shift in mindset for some of you. You know, for some of you, I really do feel that it is you having to physically put yourselves out there in some way. But for others, we could just be saying that it might just be shifting your perspective in a certain way. This is Jupiter energy here, and of course, Jupiter basically is going to be in Aquarius for pretty much most of January. Excuse me, for most of 2021. That is, it'll definitely be there in January. And then this Virgo energy here, if we think about for you guys, Virgo represents your fifth house of creativity, romance. So definitely a light and playful energy as far as that goes as well. So it looks like there's definitely some success to be had for you guys. Like I said, maybe it's just a matter of shifting your perspective. For others of you, it looks like it would take some actual action though. And like I said, what this could be pointing to is that maybe some of you already did take that action. And that could even be what the Page of Swords is pointing to. In the position of your influence on a situation, we have Judgment. So for some of you, this looks like it would be going back to something from your past, possibly even someone from your past, because that's usually what the Judgment represents. I view it as Scorpio energy, which is usually the rebirth side of the Scorpio energy, as opposed to the Death card, which is self-explanatory. But yeah, so that's why I see there. Could even just be having all of that heaviness of the ninth house energy you guys had with Saturn moving through Capricorn. It could just be even just having that shift, moving out of there. Could just help give you guys that perspective you were looking for. Jupiter moving out of there as well, because again, maybe you've been overanalyzing things with Jupiter moving through your ninth. So with those energies moving into Aquarius, could just be saying that that might give you a bit more freedom of emotion on a mental aspect. And then you're like, okay, now I'm ready to move forward on a situation. And even if you're not, I feel like this is just saying that the universe is going to just keep bombarding you with signs and messages pointing you in the direction that you need to go. All right. In the environment position, we have the star. So this is actually Aquarius energy here. And we will be in Aquarius energy toward the end of January. And like I said, there's going to be plenty of energy in there beside the sun. We're going to have Jupiter and Saturn there throughout January. So a lot of energy going on in the sign of Aquarius. And for you guys, that is your house of career and social status. And this card coming after the Tower, you know, if you guys were going through a bit of a rough stretch, which does appear to be the case there, could just be saying that you guys are finally coming out of that. And actually, you're on the right path now. Like I was saying, even for those of you who aren't, that Judgment card looks like it's going to keep nudging you in that direction. So this is definitely a positive energy. If this represents someone else, could just be saying that they also recently went through some growth. And you know, seeing the artwork there, I think of the term naked in your truth, right? Just open, vulnerable energy, putting it all out there. So definitely a positive energy to see there. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Ace of Swords. So I would at least hope no one's fearing truth, right? So if we look at that as far as that goes, or it could just be saying maybe you're hoping for that sudden insight to come through for you, right? With that Nine of Swords, you're hoping for something to pierce through your mind to say, yes, this is the right way to go. So that could be what you guys are hoping for. Like I said, it could be maybe even as soon as that full moon that we have in Cancer toward the end of December, you guys might actually get that insight that you're looking for, which could help you move forward. And in the outcome position, we have the Ten of Cups. So this is actually Pisces energy here. And of course, this points to happiness, just like we see with the Sun card and the Foundation. So really, the whole vibe that I'm getting with this reading is makes me want to say your day in the sun. It might even be what I call the, well, that might be the title I give this reading. So that's what I'm seeing here. This just represents fulfillment, happiness, obviously a much better energy than that Four of Cups and that Nine of Swords. So that does look like things are going to move a little bit quickly for you guys too. Now for some of you, this could just say that it might take until we get into Pisces season for you to really feel this way officially, which isn't going to be too far out given that this is a January reading and Pisces season does start in February. So Could just be pointing to that as far as the timeline goes, but yeah. Like I said, for some of you, it could just be as simple as a shift in your perspective, given that we see the third house connections there. But for some of you, it could just be saying that you're being nudged into action. Like, hey, you might have been sitting in the shade too long, right? Sitting in shadows. Looks like you're being nudged to put yourselves out there in some way. And once you do, it looks like you're going to get that forward movement. And speaking of forward movement, at the bottom of the deck, we have Knight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy. So, on the one hand, we're in Sagittarius season at the time of recording this. And then we're also going to, through most of January, we're going to have the sun in Capricorn, which is your ninth house, which is the house that Sagittarius naturally rules. So it could just be saying you guys are finally going to move out of that energy you guys have been in. And moving on to the oracle cards, first we have Truth to be Told. There's the artwork, and the number is 14. So we'll see what this has to say. So truth be told definitely makes me think of what I was saying there, how this Cancer energy for you guys is your third house communication. That's obviously a Gemini card, points to communication. Page of Swords points to communication. So this could definitely be around some truth coming out. But under essential meanings, it says honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. So yeah, again, that definitely makes me think of those two cards we see in the main situation and challenge position. The Oracle's message says there is the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective according to the philosophy of the adherent or believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is, peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion, will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and spirit will answer with miracles. So definitely a pretty good message there, especially for those of you where I was saying that for some of you it could just be as simple as a shift in perspective. So maybe if you guys had a mindset that could have been throwing things off for you, where it says peeling off the layers of denial, and maybe that could help in that regard. And when it referenced illusion, that does make me think of the fact that you guys had that Mars retrograde in your 12th house for a long time. And even though it's moving direct now, it's still in your 12th house. So that could have been adding to that type of energy for you. All right, the relationship message says people tell you who they are very quickly if you're willing to listen to what they say and pay attention to how they behave. This card calls you to engage in heartfelt, open conversation. It's time to see the truth about what you share with each other and tell the truth about who you are and what you need. No one can do that for you. Remember that your truth is always based in your personality and experience up to now. A higher truth will be found after you communicate honestly and see how doing so has helped you become more attuned to yourself. Don't hold back. Speak your truth and listen. So for a lot of you, I feel like this is primarily focused around you and you guys getting a change in perspective, or you guys finally stepping out into the spotlight in some way. But like I said, there could definitely be a relationship dynamic there, and if that's the case, it looks like this person's in a great position as well, so it might be a good time for you guys to discuss things. The prosperity message says, are you willing to do whatever it takes to experience the prosperous life you desire? If you want to be an artist, do you make your art a priority? If you want to be a healer, do you set time aside to learn new things to help you serve? A writer must write, and a singer must sing. Being true to your calling is essential to your moving forward. There is another oracle message here too. It's time to have a look at the real, honest truth about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about prosperity, about your relationship to money, to compensation, and to meaningful work. Ask yourself, what is true for me? And you will find a key to abundance. So definitely an interesting message there, because that made me think about the fact that you guys also have the North Node moving through your second house of finances, which is Gemini for you. And when I mentioned career as well, like I said, a lot of energy moving into your 10th house, where you have the Saturn and Jupiter energy, and then, like I was saying, the The sun will be moving in there toward the end of January as well. So hopefully that resonated with you. All right. Next we have Frog Spirit. It says clear out the clutter. There's the artwork, and the number is 28. Okay, it says, Frog Spirit knows that while all the other frogs are croaking away, this is a time for you to simplify and declutter your life so you can feel content on your own lily pad. Even when life isn't creating a total cacophony, we can become drawn to the excitement of lots of noise. Then, the next thing we know, our schedules and homes are cluttered with commitments we regret making and objects taking up valuable space. Even relationships need decluttering, as they often become messy. Frog Spirit appears to tell you to clean house, prioritize what you need, and get rid of or give away the rest so you can have some space in your day and in your head. You don't need the old stuff and its stories shouting at you about the past. Along with physical clutter, friendships are sometimes kept long past their expiration date, weighing you down with unnecessary baggage. Now is the time to let go. Whatever you need will appear when you need it, so release your grip on all that clutter that is making you feel anxious and burdened. Frog Spirit wants you to reclaim your space unencumbered by shoulds, oughts, and could have beens. Let go and jump. You are free from all that old stuff. So definitely a pretty good message there too, and that could be, again, pointing to that Nine of Swords energy we see, and also even that Four of Cups energy we see, where, like I said, maybe what you're being presented with isn't making you happy. So, like I said, in some cases that could be friendships where you guys, and maybe even the possessions you have. But if that's the case, like I said, the fact that he's under that tree in the shade makes me think of it could just be saying you guys might need to step out into the spotlight, put yourselves out there in some way. So hopefully that resonated. And it sounds like a pretty good message for a new year, right? About decluttering and whatnot. All right, finally, we have a Mudra card for you guys. So this is the Mudra here. It's the Shankha Mudra. The keyword for it is mystery. And let's see. All right, there's information on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say. But under benefits, it says improves the voice, helps improve speech defects such as stuttering, calms the mind, improves concentration, nourishes the kidneys and sexual glands, benefits the hair and bones, has a special connection with the navel center, thereby improving digestion and increasing appetite. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.